T. Scott Jones joins us now with Banks and Jones. T. Scott, how are you, sir?
Man, I'll tell you what, I'm doing fantastic, cooking with gas, so to speak. So not bad for a poor old country lawyer.
There you go. Well, I wanted to have you on to talk about this Nico situation. In retrospect, contracts or something like that, what might have been doable to avoid all this?
I think in the brave new world of NIL, obviously we're going to see almost like pro-like contracts. I mean, these young men, young women getting paid enormous sums of money, there's going to be an expectation of performance and honoring, contract obligations. These NIL deals, you look at it, they're expected to appear for autograph sessions, participate in merchandising, things of that nature is, part of the reason that they're receiving that recompense and part of the argument. So I think you're going to see really the contract language tightened up, and that if you're going to get paid, adult pay, we're going to expect adult work.
T. Scott Jones, how difficult is it going to be, though, and I think everybody's giving Tennessee credit, rightfully so, for being very hard on this is what you agreed for, and we're not going to budge. But what happens on the recruiting trail when a bunch of other schools say, you know what, we'll let you renegotiate pay and we won't make our contracts binding? Isn't the market going to favor schools that are more reckless with their contracts? Well,
I think it's going to be fluid, and to a certain extent, obviously the NCAA, we talked about that on one of the prior shows, made some errors in judgment with regards to the way that they addressed part of this whole NIL situation. But at some point in time, there's got to be somebody besides just a free market that governs this. There's got to be some sort of limitation. I mean, we talk about like contracts and things of this nature. What Nico was talking about was more, way more than a lot of pro athletes made in their entire career. So, where's the ceiling on it? So I don't know. One of the things that I thought, and I know we can't necessarily do this because they're, to quote my cousin Vinny, they're youths. But with them being youth, the reality of it is they are above the age of majority and capable of contracting. And I think about, the Oakland A's and Moneyball. And so, if we're going to pay you for performance, I think we dock you for lack thereof. So, to a certain extent, your passer rating falls below this. Hey, you know what? That check doesn't come. Or it comes and there's a base level and then it either goes up or down over there. I think you're going to see a lot of innovative swings with regards to how these contracts are structured. It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
T. Scott Jones, Banks and Jones, banksandjones.com. When I look at this situation too, I wonder if, I know this sounds crazy, but I've covered a lot of players' parents. If there needs to be verbiage in there that my main contact is with you and not your parents or your uncle or your crazy Aunt Susie or whatever.
I think that to the extent that you can do that, that'd be great. But I think you're going to see kids balk up on the limitation, especially at the age these kids are, independence. And, it's kind of sad. When you look at the numbers, Nico's dad, maybe he comes out, maybe he doesn't. $46,000 a week is pretty stout pay for a young man. I know that I would do my best to soldier through. I might have to cut back and, budget a little bit, but, 46 grand a week's pretty stout money. And, I don't say this disrespectful of Nico. We've all talked about it. I think he was rated as the 9th quarterback. It wasn't like he was the stud of the league. He was Midland in the middle of the league. And then when you saw his performance against Arkansas and against Ohio State, bad mental decisions. And I will not tell you who the very esteemed pro athlete and UT alum is that said it to me and talked about one of our other fine quarterbacks said, not only did it have it here, but he had it here, right? And if you don't have your heart and you're not all Vol and you're not going to give your all for the Vols, I don't know. It just, that really, really bothers me.
T. Scott Jones, you talked a little bit about there's going to have to be some sort of governing body with this to get these contracts sorted out. But every time the NCAA tries to do something, they lose in court right now because of antitrust law. So how can something be done to create a governing body with these contracts like you talk about that doesn't just straight up violate antitrust laws?
I think you're going to have the university come together, all of the various Division I schools, so to speak, come together and as a conglomerate, decide, that it's going to be a situation where you have salary caps. I mean, what happened with the NFL? What happened with Major League Baseball? I mean, how long do you think it's going to be, gentlemen? I will predict if that doesn't happen, somebody will be making $10 million a year within 5 years.
I wouldn't be surprised at that either. And I think there needs to be a fundamental shift from NIL. We just need to forget about that acronym, because you brought it up and it made me think of it. Nico didn't show up to anything, basically. And he wasn't autographing stuff. He wasn't out there. As a matter of fact, one representative said, I can get you anybody but Nico. And that proved to be the case. It just needs to be pay for play. They just need to be employees. We're kind of got a sham going here a little bit.
Well, it's just disrespect for the university, the program, and everything else. And, I wish the young man all the luck in the world, and I'm sure somebody is going to take a chance on that young man. But, it's the old song by Great White, right? Once bitten, twice shy. So, I mean, if a snake bites, are you really going to jump in the water with him? I mean, somebody will, but then again, how much loyalty is he going to have out of his linemen, right? I mean, is that blind side going to be protected, or is he going to have one of those lookout blocks, where the man goes down and says, look out? I don't know. I mean, it is interesting as what's going on.
No question. East Tennessee's best law firm. Tell us more about Banks and Jones and what you do that separates you guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're 34 strong now here at my offices. We're down here on Middlebrook. We've got a plethora, big word there, of trial lawyers. We go to court. We try our lawsuits. We make on average 41 court appearances a week, and we do what it takes to play to win.
Have a fantastic day. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, gentlemen. Take care. Bye-bye. I'm a leaving.
I'm a leaving. Waiting for that.
Well played.
That's pretty good. All right, T-Scott, thank you. How great was that? I'm a leaving. I'm still in that officially.
Iamaleava. See, the catch, Dave, with all that, and the catch with all of this, though, is that, again, yes, there's salary caps in the NFL, but I mean, there's no limit on what players can make endorsement-wise with the NFL. And so a lot of this NIL money is endorsement deals. Who's to come in and say you can't make money off endorsements? I mean, that's just, unfortunately, that's how it is. I don't know any way you put guardrails on that.
Well, the endorsement dollars don't need to come directly from advertisers. In other words, let's take Cooper Mays, for instance. Okay, Cooper Mays got whatever he got from the University of Tennessee, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know I have an idea how much that is, but I'm not sure, so I'm not going to share it. But then I went to him separately about doing the Ball Report, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. And that's completely separate. It's not going through the university. Right now, you've got advertising money going through the university. You have donor money going through the university. Why not? And I don't think Tennessee needs Spire anymore. I would trade Spire right now for a strong general manager in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think it was the idea to streamline endorsements, and the streamline has kind of backfired. But I just feel like, saying all this up front, it's like, there's no way you could, because like you could do a salary cap for what schools can pay players. Fine, players unionize. There's no cap on advertising revenue. I mean, there's no way you can tell a player that they can't go do an endorsement with a car company and make a bunch of money.
That would be illegal.
Yes, exactly.
Which Tennessee proved in court to make sure that Nico was eligible.
Exactly.
How bizarre.